Well, it was all going so well, wasn't it? Too well, according to FC Gifu. They inexplicably have released Hiroki Izumi at the end of his contract. They have not shown any sign of replacing him, and we are now in a ton of trouble as the transfer window is open with no director of football and hardly any players of first team level. With that in mind, if there's no Hiroki, there's no party, and that means I'm off for another job. We've got a couple of interview offers. Let's go and see how they go. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 18 of the head coach with me, Daniel. The FM24 edition has taken its first sour turn. I expected to perhaps be back discussing an opportunity to move on today, but not in these circumstances. I feel like I'm mourning a long lost friend as Hiroki Izumi has been released from his role at the end of his contract, and rather surprisingly, I don't really understand why. No offer to replace him yet 11 days later. So if you're looking forward to seeing what job opportunities we've been given, we've got one interview for a job that we didn't apply for and one for a job that we did. And please do put a thumbs up on the video. Potentially, it's a massive opportunity to progress our career at one of these clubs, but will either of them come off? Well, let's go and find out, because today we're going to head through some job interviews, see how we get on, and hopefully we're going to meet some people at a new club, because FC Gifu, the dream is over. And it's all because they let Hiroki Izumi go. Let's go and have a look then at our inbox, because we've got two big news items waiting for us. And they are interviews at two Japanese J1 League clubs. Both top tier teams that have been established here before. One of them a 2-star ability club. One of them a 3-star reputation club. Now, we are 2.5 years into a save. If we end up at a 3-star reputation club, this would break every record this channel has ever had. We've got an interview offer from Arawa just an hour after we applied for the job. And we've got an interview from Nagata where we haven't applied for the job at all. They are a 2-star reputation club that have been fighting at the bottom end for a few years and are expected to finish just above the relegation zone. But they've been doing it. They've finished 13th, 16th and 15th the last 3 seasons. And if we look at their key player, they've got a very good goalkeeper between the sticks. They've also got some very decent foreign players too. Peter Makrilos, an Australian. I mean, you can immediately see when we go and look at these players, not just the difference in budget, but when I was talking about us competing with Gifu, this is the side that finished 5th or 6th bottom and is expected to finish 4th bottom by the media. And these are the players in their first team. It is a completely different standard to what we're used to. Their strikers are solid. They've got a Brazilian star. They've got quality everywhere, and they've got consistent quality. And they've got a big squad as well, which a lot of teams in the J2 didn't have, which allowed us to rotate and be successful. So that is the sort of second choice offer, which I'll be honest with you, if Hiroki Izumi had still been here, I wouldn't have even gone to that interview. I would have said, I'll rather stick it out with Gifu or go to Arawa. As it is, we're going to have to go for an interview here, because this is a 3-star reputation club. And lo and behold, this is remarkable. They won the league a year ago. They've had a terrible season. They finished 11th. But the last season prior, they won the league. They were in the Asian Champions League. Their media prediction was 3rd, and they had a continental reputation. They've got quality players on 20-odd grand a week. So they've got star players from Japan, which is important. They've got young stars who are very good. If you look at some of the players coming up through the ranks, they look exceptional. And they've also got star players from abroad. So at centre-half, they've got a Norwegian under-21 international of years gone by, who is very good. They've got a left back from Brazil, who is championship level. Those of you that have been following my loot and save on Twitch will know he's probably rated better than some of the left backs I've got there. And they've also got a Danish substitute striker who, again, is a different level from what we're used to. This is a huge step up if we can get it. It is the job I desperately want. So we're going to attend that interview. I will attend the other one as well. But I'm not going to do them all on camera because you'll get very bored. So we'll do this one. They're impressed with our fantastic performance at Gifu, and they've identified us as one of the top candidates. Despite offering us an interview, they do have slight reservations about our suitability to deliver the club's vision for the future. This is mainly as a result of your reluctance towards making set pieces an important part of your approach. We've had several 5-foot-something centre-halves. You've got to give me leeway. Let's have a look at the interview. The board are pleased that you have taken the time to attend. Let's get started. Do you think it's positive that you've only managed one team so far? There isn't much loyalty left in football, and that reflects well on me. Absolutely. I've taken them as far as I can, and I think all parties would be chirped by a change of scenery. Can you offer any assurances that you have what it takes to make the jump to manage a big club? Look at my work, it shows I'm ready. Why have you felt it acceptable to apply for a number of jobs? I will not let anything get in the way of furthering my career. Can you explain why you're in the running for a few? I'm doing whatever I can to keep progressing. My relationship with the fans is clear for all to see. They love me. Can you assure us that you would have no problem securing the backing of your players? Not at all. I don't need to make any changes to the staffing because you guys are going to be in charge of that. What are the objectives? Qualify for the Champions League. Oh, this is a big job. This is a big job. Champions League, challenge for the title, and then win the title for 3 years. I am excited about that. Let's get going. I understand. Let's move on. Give me this job, please. Let's go and skip ahead. We'll do the interview with Nagata as well, and we'll see who offers us a job. Fingers crossed. Look at this item. We're set to take the Arawa job. We were offering odds of 17-2, but odds now available of 4-1. We are the overwhelming favourite, having been handed the opportunity to speak to them face to face. Fingers crossed. Back in a minute. This could be a record-breaking start to this save. Well, I'm afraid that optimism did not last long because we have been turned down 8 days later for the job at Arawa Reds. But the reason for that is because it has been taken by Nagi Amata. Now, this might offer an opportunity as well. He was the manager of Yokohama FC, who are 20th in the J-League on alphabeticals at the minute. If we go and have a look at their recent seasons, they have finished 14th, 5th and 14th the last 3 years. They are a 2.5-star reputation club, in between the two that we just interviewed at, and probably the level of club I would have expected to be in the line for. So potentially out of the misfortune of missing out on a big one, I feel we might have got an opportunity that's both realistic and probable. Because if we go and have a look at this side, they have got quality players. They've got a goalkeeper on 15 grand a week who is very good. There is no doubt in that at all. And by our squad standard, they're 5-star ability. They've got a homegrown player in defence who's good enough to start, which has been a massive problem for us at our club. He's not the tallest or the best in a jump, but he's a magnificent young player. At 18 homegrown, he would be the best player if he were at FC Gifu. I am excited about this club, arguably as excited as I was about the last one. Should we have a look at the other foreign players just in case? They've got a centre-half who, very good. They've got a left-back from Morocco, who's not bad at all. Better going forward though. They've got a goalkeeper on the bench who's not great. And they've got a holding midfielder who's very good. They've also got some other young Japanese players who have definitely got potential. This is a good side. It's a solid side at this level. And it looks like the sort of job that we've got a better chance of getting, and more importantly, that would suit us better for this moment in time. Let's go and apply for that one instead. For the opportunity of missing out on Arawa and the Yokohama manager going there, we are going to apply for this one and hopefully get our step up regardless. Well, I'm not going to bore you by going through all of these interviews, but 2 days later, we have been offered an interview by Yokohama FC. We have attended it. We have said what we need to say. We've not had any media items this time about possibly getting a job or being a favourite or whatever. We go and have a look at the job centre though. At the moment, we are the favourite at 9-2. So hopefully it's an opportunity for us to get a job. We have applied for a couple of others in the Czech Republic and Sweden as well. But it looks like, as many of you predicted in the comments, it's going to be staying in Japan. But if it can be a big step up and a club we can take to the top, then I'm all for it. Let's go and see if we get lucky second time around. Even though we did get rejected by the 2-star club. Well, we are back with 2 red news items and they explain themselves perfectly, don't they? We were rejected by Nagata, but that was perhaps understandable because it was a job that wasn't a big step up and was going to be a relegation battle. I was a bit more forceful with my interview answers to make sure that I was getting what I wanted, which they obviously didn't want to give me. We know we got rejected by Arawa, but the fact they have chosen the Yokohama manager has very much helped me out. Because Yokohama FC have approached me and it looks like we're staying in Japan. First though, you can see there's a couple of offers from Gifu. They've actually signed one pretty good young player. Still no director of football, but the assistant manager found a good player for $250,000. Very different level to what we've seen at the clubs we've interviewed at though. And they've also signed a striker from Belgium because there's 5 foreign slots in a squad in a top tier. an extra one, and that's the player he signed. But again, he's preparing for life back in the second tier, the assistant manager and the chairman and whoever else is involved. But no director of football, no Hiroki Izumi. It doesn't matter what you beg me with, we are not going to be staying. Let's have a look at Yokohama FC's approach first. 3.2 grand a week wages. For comparison, we are currently on 2.5 grand a week after promotion. The transfer budget was 1.8 million, the wage budget 180 grand a week. And here's the most interesting thing about this one, and I don't know if it's the case in real life or what's caused it, but Yokohama FC, in the interview, said, "Are you happy to work with the director of football?" As always, I said yes. It's an Englishman. Sean Holmes is director of football, formerly of England chief scout, QPR head of youth development, Spurs chief scout, Loughborough University director of football. And I tell you what, have a look at his attributes. He's bloody brilliant. 14 for judging ability, 15 for judging potential, determined, good people management, adaptable, great coaching qualifications, good knowledge, and not a great negotiator, which is the only downfall. But we are going in to an all-English team. English director of football, English manager, and it looks like we might have fallen on our feet with this one because his attributes are sensational. That's probably why they've got a good squad. The expectations from them are to make the most of set pieces, which they didn't mention as a negative. Don't sign players over 30, sign players under 23, and more importantly, be an established J1 league team. No threat of relegation, no demands to get to the top, just be solid, and that is a nice base for us to build from. The board will like to hold a meeting to discuss your future at the club. We understand that there is interest from other clubs and would like to discuss terms to keep you here. I'm going to refuse to attend. I don't want to go. I want to sign for Yokohama FC. This is a massive opportunity for me, and it looks like we're going to have a great opportunity to develop our skills and develop a good side. I'm going to ask for a pay rise to 3.5 grand a week, reduce my relegation wage drop, even though I'll be sacked by that point. Let's see if they agree. They do. We're adding £1 grand a week to our wage. We're going to a bigger club, and we will now be the manager of a second team in Japan, this time Yokohama FC. Let's go and get into our first day at the job, meet the staff and players we're going to be working with. Well, here we are. In a move that is sure to spark plenty of heated debate, we have left FC Gifu for divisional rivals Yokohama FC. We lifted the J2 and J3 league in our last 2 seasons, but why have we taken up a different job? Well, because it's a bigger one, and we've lost Hiroki Izumi. Teruyuki Matsuo was considered favourite for the job, but it is us who have got it. We are now in charge of Yokohama FC. They've got secure finances, they've got great facilities, smaller stadium ironically, but there'll probably be more fans there, and a big wage budget, which is a big difference. It's a club that have won the J2 League and of course the Japan League a couple of times, but founded in 1998, fierce rivals with Yokohama FM, no assistant manager, but Sean Holmes is there, and our director of football is going to guide us all the way. We'll go and meet the players in a minute. We just saw the club culture items, we know the objectives, so let's go and get into our first day. The 32-year-old has got a new manager milestone. He has joined Yokohama FC. Let's see what the situation is. Bigger club, but not as many season ticket holders, which is interesting. Season expectations, mid-table finish and the first rounds of the cup. Tactical direction we'll do in a bit. There is only one thing we want to do in this episode. Meet the staff and meet the players. Let's start by having a look at the staffing. Now, the first thing you can see is that there's an awful lot of gaps in this team, and that is because I'm guessing a few went with the old manager to Arawa. He would have taken some with him, I'm sure. We've got a technical director and a director of football. We know all about Sean Holmes, who has got great attributes for finding players. Let's hope that produces some good ones for us. Rio and Mori is technical director. He's nowhere near as good, but again, if he fills the staffing vacancies, I'll be a happy man. We've got a reserve manager who is average. We've got a head of youth development who is pretty good. 13 and 14 for judgment, good at working with youngsters. Senior goalkeeper coach Takahashi is okay. Senior fitness coach Shibuya is good. Senior general coach Otsuka is poor. And Sugiyama is okay. Better mentally, if nothing else. We've not got much of a recruitment team, just one chief scout behind the director of football. He's absolutely useless as well. So that might be an area we need to see a few faces come in, but we've got a head physio who's good. We've got a head of sports science who is good. And overall, There is a lot more structure behind the scenes at this club, which will definitely help in the future. With that done then, let's go and meet the squad because it looks like the staffing team is going to grow throughout the year. We want to just check the development centre. Oh, there's a few in the reserve squad that are rated very well. A 3-star ability backup goalkeeper. Not great positioning, but everything else is all right. We've got an 18-year-old fullback who is good. I mean, to put into perspective, he's as good as anything at Gifu, and he is in their reserve team at 18. Is he homegrown at the club? Don't know if I can find out from that screen. We've got Shinichi Chiba, who is a centre-half with big potential as well, so definitely an opportunity to develop young players here. And Royotaro Sada, not as much potential, but a very good player with a professional personality at 18. And again, if any of those are homegrown, we're in really great shape. I like what they've got here. Definitely an improvement on what we had at Gifu. They've also got a 33-year-old winger in here, Nakagawa, who, again, he's sort of Gifu level, isn't he? And the fact that they're their backup players is definitely a good sign. What we need to do, though, is meet this first team. We had a brief look at a few of them. It's not a massive side at the moment, but of course, it is the start of the transfer window. We're a couple of weeks in, and I'm sure the team will improve before the season starts, with the first game coming in, just under 3 weeks from now. So let's go and get them in position order. We know about the goalkeepers, which we've seen. The backup one, not great, but at least with them both being foreign, it means that when one's out, we're able to bring in a better backup keeper. There was a good one in the reserves, as we saw, but that German international is a very solid man, and I'm very happy to have him in my squad. His background, well, he's played for St. Pauli, and he's come here, and he's been here for years, and he's done a very good job. Let's go into defence. We've got a 3.5-star right back from Morocco. He was playing left back when we saw him. Determined, very good going forward. Maybe if we can find the right tactic with wing backs, he'd suit that better. But either way, very good player, just not the best tackling. Defensively, we've got a centre-half in Matheus Moraes, a 24-year-old Brazilian who's not the best mentally, but very good in terms of jumping reach. He's 6'2". Key attributes are strong. Yeah, I like him. Very good player. Left-sided balance too. Daika Maya is a 4-star ability centre-half from Japan. Again, left-footed, which is a bit of a problem, but very good. Not the best heading, but very good jumping reach to make up for it. Great positioning, great strength, good in a tackle. Very good defender. And then we've got the 18-year-old Kenta Ueno, who we did have a little look at. Homegrown at the club. Not the best jumping reach, but very good as a sort of fullback or as a third centre-half. Maybe they could be a back three together if we get some backups in. There were a couple in that reserve squad, weren't there? So maybe that's something we can think about there. If not, maybe we could go for Ueno as a right back and Bouchari a bit further forward. The left back, though, maybe not quite so strong. Ren Kato is 2.5-star ability. He's got all the key attributes, but he's not brilliant. He's more of a Gifu standard player than a Yokohama one. Into midfield, we start with a star. 4-star ability, Yuri Lara. He is a Brazilian holding and centre midfielder who is just fantastic. Good box to box, good as a centre mid. Very good defensive attributes and a decent natural fitness. Really strong player on a big contract for 2 years as well. Very much a star of the team. He is joined by 30-year-old Kazuki Fukai. He is, again, a good player. If that's 3-star in this team, I'm a happy man. I'm looking again, he's a natural in the holding role. Good deep playmaker, good on the ball. Not bad natural fitness either. Then there's an 18-year-old holding midfielder who's 2.5 ability, 4-star potential. Very naturally fit, very good on the ball. A solid backup for sure. We've got 24-year-old right midfielder Tomoki Kondo. He is a better cover at fullback who's good defensively. Not bad as a right midfielder, but probably rules out as playing with sort of wide attacking wingers because he's not good enough to do that and not aggressive enough going forward. The next one out is Hiroki Aquino. He's a 31-year-old centre midfielder who is currently transfer listed. I can see why compared to the others because he's not even as good as the youngster. He's a solid player to have here. He would have walked into my FC Gifu midfield, but most of his experience is in the second tier, and I can understand why he might be moving on. The left winger is Shunya Yoneda. He is 30 and 3-star ability. A natural left back as well. Not the best defensively, but the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking we've got to find a tactic with wing backs because both him and the Moroccan right back suit it. Good player, good crosser of the ball. I'll tell you what, if we've got a good target man in this team, the delivery ain't going to be half bad. Next up is Haida Vitalucci, who is a 24-year-old right winger, 3.5 ability, 5-star potential, 4-star potential, sorry. Fairly professional, can play as a number 10, a right or a left midfielder. Just a very good player, isn't he? A solid all-rounder, moves into channels, has got a bit of experience under his belt. I can see him being a very valuable player, either as a starter or as a first sub that's versatile. I'm not sure which yet. It does worry me looking down from here that we've only got one very good rated player after, and he's currently injured. But let's get through the last 6 anyway. We've got Daisuke Tagaji, who is a 3-star pressing forward. He's actually a right midfielder. Works hard, he's good mentally, apart from determination here. Good physically as well, but bar the crossing ability, not the best technically. But again, if we've got one good target forward, these boys are all going to put in good crosses. And Tagaji, again, will be a valuable member of the squad. The next one is Masatoshi Ishida. He's a 3-star deep line forward. Again, more natural off the right of midfield. Not really physical enough to play up front for me. I like him as a number 10, I've got to be honest with you. I think he's got real talent in that position. I'm just thinking that given all the wide players we've seen so far are either good wing-backs or potentially good strikers or second number 10s, could we play with wing-backs, 2 centre midfielders and then a number 10 behind 2 strikers? If they're good enough, he could be our number 10 because I really like what he's got technically. The next one is Keita Sato, who is the oldest in the squad at 32. Very much a far cry from what we've seen in the lower leagues and does reflect real life in Japan where the top tier is a lot younger. He has 3-star ability. He's a target forward. He's not brilliant, but he's good. He's got a jumping reach. He's got heading ability. He's got good strength. He's just a good player. And if we don't have a better one, I'll be happy to start with him. This is the big one though, isn't it? We've got a 4-star ability centre forward, Koki Agawa. How long is he injured for? How good is he? And what sort of role can he play? It's suggesting poacher. Oh, you aren't a poacher at all. You're a wonderful target man. 6 foot, good in the air, great finisher. Bit of flair as well. I know he's out for 4 weeks to 2 months. He'll miss the first big chunk of the season. 1 Japan cap, 3 goals. You are my man. You played at NEC in the Netherlands a couple of years ago. And you are a very good centre forward. Now, we're going to play with 1 behind 2 strikers. He will definitely be one of them. Alongside him, could it be Shion Inoue? 2.5-star ability. Oh, God. What is going on here? This is like the reverse of Kusamoto at Gifu. This one's a striker with 3 finishing, 4 heading. He's marked as a natural left winger, where he's 6 for crossing and dribbling. If you put him as a centre midfielder, he's exceptional. He's good on the ball, he's a good all-rounder mentally, and he's good physically with natural fitness. We've literally got the reverse of Kusamoto in the wrong position. So as a backup centre midfielder, he'll be very good. He will not touch my team as a striker, let me assure you of that. And then the final one is Mizuki Ando, who is a 3-star ability poacher. Again, pretty good physically and not bad in the finish, but I'll be honest with you, the 2 strikers I'm leaning towards are Saito and then probably Agawa when he's fit, with Ishida playing in just behind them. We've got the option while we're a man down, we can play Ishida up front, Vitalucci in behind. But I'm looking at this immediately, and the tactic that's screaming out at me is the 3-4-1-2. Back 3, wing backs, 2 midfielders playing holding or centre mid, doesn't matter which. And then a number 10 behind 2 strikers is probably the way I want to go. I'm looking at the defence. Yes, we've only got 5 or 6 players here at the minute. But in that development centre, we can promote Ando, we can train him as a wing back. We can promote Chiba as a backup centre half. We've got ability there. We've got another backup midfielder. I think we're going to be absolutely fine for options. I'm excited. I'm quite looking forward to working with this squad. It's going to be a very different tactical style to perhaps what we had at Gifu. We've got an English director of football. We've got an opportunity to get players in. And once we set up the tactical instructions and update the squad planner to match, I think we've got a real opportunity to get people in. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. We're up to a big 2.5-star reputation side. Not the sort of thing that normally happens in the 3rd season of the head coach, but I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Let me know what you think of Gifu releasing Hiroki Izumi, and let me know more importantly what you think of this squad I've inherited. Do you agree with my tactical decisions, or am I going to be left a bit short? Basically, was Izumi a lucky director of football, or are they all going to be the same? The attributes would suggest we're going to get on pretty well, but we'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed meeting our new club, Yokohama FC, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Justice for Hiroki Izumi. We'll keep an eye on him and see how his career goes. But if you want to stay up to date and find out how we get on in our first game in charge, which will be against FC Tokyo, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We got Gifu in the middle of March as well. You can bet we're going to be showing that on camera. It's going to be a fun rivalry if FC Gifu can put a competitive side together. We'll see who they appoint as manager as well, but in the meantime, we are back on our normal schedule now, as unfortunately, I've got to go back to work. So tomorrow, we'll have a big transfer special at Southend United at 3:30, before this one returns on Tuesday with our first game at Yokohama. The two stories will rotate each day from this point on. We're also going to have a few specials soon. I've got one more save ideas video, and hopefully a first look at FM24 mobile tomorrow, if the Netflix game stuff works as intended. I hope you're looking forward to all of that. You can find all the key playlists up in the eye above. Come and follow us on Twitch and the Football Podcast if you haven't already. And I'll see you back here next time for our first game at a new club. We're in charge of Yokohama FC, and on paper at least, it looks like a huge step up.